Today- Yeah, today we are discussing a debt. Okay. So this is a common subject which we are going to discuss how to leverage with debt safely. I am D. Murali, a chartered accountant, and my company Dharani Capital is getting semi-registered investment advisor. And all the things we are discussing here is for educational purpose only, nothing else. Okay. Now, let us discuss about the debt management. What is the purpose of the debt? Let us see. 1 second. It is hiding me. Mhm. Mhm. What is the purpose of the debt? We will see that. See, debt, when we are borrowing a debt, when the available money is not enough for our some purpose like buying a house or building a business like that and all, we are borrowing money. Okay, how much is to be borrowed, how it can be used, and how it will be repaid, when it will be repaid, like that and all, we are going to discuss this. Okay, but borrowing a debt is easy, but it involves a cost and imposes a time-bound repayment obligation on the borrower. So whether to use a debt, it depends upon our available income to pay the additional interest cost and also to meet the repayment schedule. Repayment schedule, if it is delayed or not met, it will affect our CIBIL score, and the follow-up of the bank or creditors will be vigorous, which will lead us to strain and tension. So, in order to avoid such a kind of tension, we have to consider what is the cost and what is the repayment obligations, so that we will not have any kind of tension. Whether debt is good or bad, we cannot say debt is always good, but it is not always bad. It all depends how the borrowed funds is being utilized. Whether it is utilized in a leveraged way. That means, leverage means the rate of interest what we are paying and the rate of return on which we are investing by using the borrowed funds will give us is the leverage. If I am investing the borrowed money at the rate which is borrowed at the rate of say 10%, and I may be able to make in my business around 20-25%, it has meaning. And apart from that, one more thing is also more important. See, this is sometimes we will be having enough money, and we may prefer to invest in education loan or housing loan and all, which is the banks are offering very lower interest. So, keeping our money invested in the preferred area and buying a house or spending the money by borrowing the lower rate of interest, it gives a lot of meaning. So debt is not always bad, we can say. Okay, see, so moreover, this cash flow mismatch is the most important. Sir. So now our credit card becomes due on 10th. Let us assume that. If you are getting your salary or business income on 15th or 20th, that in between period will bring you a lot of tension. So in that case, we are forced to buy even for 5 days, 10 days to manage the 10 days that cash flow mismatch, we are borrowing it, which is already the borrowing does not come so freely. It incurs a cost and repayment obligations. So this cash flow mismatch is to be studied clearly. For example, you choose the credit card to pay after 20th, or your EMA comes at the end of the month, so that you will be having your income to facilitate us pay the EMI and all without any difficulty. So this is most important. Okay, next. Another is this debt to income ratio is most important. What is debt to income? Suppose we are having here an income of say 10 lakhs and all. So we are supposed to borrow with the limit in which we will be able to pay the loan and the interest without any tension and strain. First thing, the cash flow mismatches should be avoided. Means the EMI debt and all should not fall before your income arises, and the amount should facilitate you to repay the EMI and all easily without creating any kind of tension and all. Okay, now let us analyze the debt, components of the debt. Components of the debt is the most. First is interest rate. Interest rate, we should ensure that whenever we are borrowing a debt, it should be at the competitive rate. We should not borrow money under credit card or under any scheme that gives a higher rate of interest. Only thing you have to see that the interest rate is much competitive. The products that are available by the banks or anybody is to be studied deeply so that your interest rate will be lower. And the loan amount. The loan amount also, see, in some cases, EMI period will be extended, but the loan amount will be higher. Say, for example, say 20 lakhs we are borrowing for a house. Let us say hypothetically, or 2 crores we are borrowing it. Say every month 20,000, 2 lakh rupees you may have to pay. But when the EMI period is extended, you will have the lower amount, but you have to pay higher rate of interest. So all these aspects and all, before taking a loan, you have to consider this. Okay. So before taking the loan, it's better to have an advice with a consultant. The financial to relieve from the financial pressure arising from the debt repayment. Yeah. So it is one important word in the bank loan sanction letter that you have to see. Interest is they will put the term rest, means quarterly or annually like that they will put the word. Rest means your interest will subject to revision within that period. If it is say quarterly, every quarter your interest rate will be reviewed. So this aspect you have to particularly for a company, this aspect is to be considered. So okay, now we are getting some money we are getting in a lump sum. Whether this money is to be used for repayment of the loan or whether it can be invested. So this is to be analyzed. See, when you are, let us assume that we are having a 1 crore of debt. Some 30 lakhs, 40 lakh rupees is coming. Whether what we will do, whether we will invest that money or shall we repay the amount of the loan. This depends on the two questions, that absolute figure and the relative figure you have to calculate. Suppose your investment gives the more return than the interest rate as the existing loans are charging. Now, then you go for investment only. Otherwise, you just settle the loan and be free. That strain and you will not be having. Okay, yeah. Now, so this decision is depends on the two main aspects. One is interest rate of the loan and the average earning from your proposed investment. So, what is the kind of investment we are making and all? See, suppose in case we are investing in a higher income rate, now we can always go for the investment only. What are the asset classes of investment? Suppose you plan to invest in equity. See, fixed deposit and all, you cannot have the money, you cannot invest the money in fixed deposit or somebody. Maybe buying the another asset or maybe in the equity investment. Equity investment will give you a higher rate of interest provided not in the short term, but only in the long term. So this aspect you have to consider. So now, what is the strategies to reduce the debt faster? There are 3-4 strategies are available. First is avalanche method. What is avalanche method? Avalanche method is you have to consider all the loans that you are taking it, which is paying the highest rate of interest. You have to settle it first. Avalanche, you have to settle the loan that has highest rate of interest, irrespective of the loan amount. Another is a snowball. Snowball is in the opposite. Whatever the money is available, from the lowest outstanding to highest outstanding, you have to go for it. Here, interest will not be decided. Only reducing the loan amount will be considered. This is snowball method. Another is Blizzard. Blizzard method is considering both. You have to consider the interest rate as well as the amount of the loan, whichever highest rate, and you have to pay the highest rate of interest, and also you have to consider the amount of the loan. That is a Blizzard method. So these three methods you have to follow it in settling your loan, subject to your considering the rate of return in the investment. Okay, so we have discussed about debt management in general way. Okay, if you find this video useful, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. A lot of many more financial related videos are upcoming. Thank you for watching. Thank you.